What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dom and Pop DC Sports Talk Plus podcast. This week, we're going to be doing a little bit of everything, checking in on Lamar, talking about the Commanders, checking in on a little kickoffs of the week. Of course, we got to take a look at the Commanders' sale. We're going to do all that good stuff. Get ready. It's going to be a good one. Pop, how you doing, man?
Son, is that you?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
man.
Fresh
Looking
cut.
good, looking good.
I know I was wearing the hat in the last couple episodes, so the viewers, you can see a little bit of it coming out on the sides, how crazy it was getting. But I
Like
finally
it.
said, had to get rid of it. Had to get rid of it. Trim the
New
top.
style for dominatrix.
Yeah, I
Hey,
had to.
thanks for dressing for the pod. I appreciate that.
I wore burgundy, man.
Is that
This was
burgundy? It looks
intentional.
brown.
No, it's burgundy.
What?
I think it's burgundy. I hope it's burgundy. Anyways, enough about hair and makeup. How you doing, Pop?
Doing good. Doing good.
Yeah,
Hanging in.
ready to get into it here. We got a pretty, I wouldn't say the craziest week news wise, but it's good. It gives us time to kind of touch on a lot of different things, keep things moving,
You know
bring a
we're
little
gonna mix it
variety to the
up
podcast.
regardless. We got some good stuff for the people.
Always, we got a really great kick hots of the week this week,
Stay
so stay
tuned.
tuned for that.
Stay
That's
tuned.
coming. It's going to be awesome. In the meantime, I mean, this is a sports podcast, so we should talk about what every sports podcast has to talk about, and that's Lamar Jackson. What's going on here? It is another as of April 1st today. No April Fool's jokes. Lamar Jackson has not been. We don't know where he's playing football next year. We know he announced, I think, early in the week this week, he announced on Twitter that he had asked for a trade from the Ravens earlier in March, and there's been no motion. So we don't really know what's going on with that. How do you think that impacts things, Pop?
Yeah, I don't think it helps Lamar, going public with his trade demands, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it sounds like it was kept under wraps for a bit, but it seems to give the leverage to the rest of the league instead of Baltimore. And, if you're
yeah,
Baltimore, I mean, I know in our group text with the Ravens insider, I said, if I'm Baltimore, I don't take anything less than the 2 first-round picks that they were
yeah,
supposed to give the franchise tag. And I let them sit. I know that might be a controversial take, but it sounds like they've put a pretty healthy offer on the table, and I know there's a lot of people out there taking Lamar's side, and the rest of the league didn't force Cleveland to make that Deshaun, Watson deal,
yeah,
and you know I'm not saying that Lamar's doing anything wrong either, but if I'm the Ravens and I really feel like I've made a fair offer, which it sounds like from all indications, and nobody really knows, right? We're not in the
yeah,
room, but it sounds like from all indications they've offered a heck of a lot of money. I think 200 million guaranteed was something I heard.
yeah,
Um, I'm not taking anything less than those 2 first-round picks if somebody wants them. That's for sure.
yeah. It's a really weird situation. I don't. I guess it's just further confirmation at this point. If you weren't uh, already convinced of this fact, I don't think Lamar Jackson ever suits up as a Baltimore Raven ever again. And I
Yeah,
think personally, when they hit him with that non-exclusive franchise tag, if they hit him with the regular franchise tag, I would have said I think there's a chance. But the
right.
non-exclusive franchise tag tells me you're gone, dude.
Yeah,
And we're just waiting for somebody to match the price. So I think we're at a bit of a stalemate with this Lamar situation
I
because of the
kind of
NFL draft coming up. I
I
think
kind of
there's
disagree
not.
with you on that point, though. I think the Ravens wanted to keep him, and in fact, even Florio was reporting that their intention was to match any offers. I think
Yeah,
Lamar took it as an insult, and now the thing is so fractured that he went public with his trade demands, and he made a trade demand that I don't see it
that's
coming back.
definitely.
I don't see it coming back together, but I don't think you know you have to be prepared to lose somebody if you put the franchise tag on them. You've said that
Yep,
many times, giving you credit for that. So I
yep.
think they were prepared to lose them, but I do think they still wanted to keep them up until that point that this news came out. That's my
Yeah,
thoughts anyway. You
That's a
know,
good take. That's a good take. I like that. I think in general, like I said, I think it's done for Lamar in Baltimore, and I think we're
agreed.
stuck in a bit of a stalemate with the situation because now teams are in draft mode. Everybody's focused on the draft. That's where we're headed, and I think that with the quarterback class in this draft, you've got two guys who are potential league shaker uppers in Bryce Young and CJ Stroud that can really, people are thinking are going to hit the ground running. I love CJ Stroud. I think he's going to be phenomenal.
He's your man
Um,
crush this year.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. I
We
think
got
he's,
one quarterback in every draft.
yeah, I think he's definitely my favorite quarterback in this year's draft class for sure. And then you've got Anthony Richardson, of course, who, one of the most freak athletes we've ever seen at the
Right.
quarterback position. The teams are going to want to see, hey, does Richardson take a slide? Where's Levis going to end up? Can we get in at number 3 with
Agreed.
Arizona on draft night? So I think we're not going to see Lamar find a landing spot until after the draft. That's
Great take.
my guess at this point. I know there's been some reporting, maybe not reporting, but some kind of passing along of rumors via reporters uh, hinting at that. But so, anyways, there's that. And then in terms of the Aaron Rodgers
Can I make one
situation,
more Lamar point?
go
Quick,
ahead.
quick one. I agree with you 100%. It's all going to come down to the draft. But it's just going to be. It's got. I know how much Ravens fans hate it and just want it to be all over. But the
Yeah,
drama, because like the Colts are sitting there at number 4, and how do you let the Colts take Lamar in the division? You know what I mean? If they all of a sudden step up and go all in and offer him a ton of money, and it'd be the perfect Ursay kind of thing to do. How can you
yeah.
let that happen if you're the Ravens? So the drama, not to get into like a debate about that scenario, but the drama that can still unfold with the situation or a
It's going to
holdout
be
or
nuts.
whatever, we'll be talking a lot more about it. That's for sure.
It's going to be nuts. And I think, Lamar has got to be looking at how Deshaun handled the situation in Houston. And of course, there were some other factors at play there. But he's got to be saying, hey, if I sit out for a year, how's that going to hurt my value? You look at, and I think the Ravens also have to be looking at what the Texans got in compensation for Watson.
I
And they
think
got
at
to be
this
thinking,
point,
hey, let him sit.
Lamar is a better player than Deshaun Watson. I don't think there's much doubt about that in my
Not even
mind.
close. Not even
However,
close.
that's not the opinion of the league. It may be the opinion of the league today, but at the time Deshaun was on the market, the opinion that people had of him as a player versus the opinion that they seem to have of Lamar as a player, they're just not valuing Lamar as
Yeah.
high as they valued Deshaun. So, but
Which,
anyway, you
yeah,
know,
we can talk about that all day. I think at the end of the day, the way this thing is going to resolve, it might be after a year long holdout, it might be after the draft, it might be on draft night. I think the way this resolves is the Ravens are going to get a ton of picks. Lamar's going to get paid. I think everybody's going to come out of this with the maximum amount of compensation they had in mind. Because at the end of the day, like we always say, quarterback is always at a shortage in the NFL. There's never enough good ones. So, real quick, we're just going to just give a quick update on this other A-list quarterback situation here. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. The negotiations continue. We don't have anything finalized. What I have seen reported is that the Packers are not going to take the Jets' first-round draft pick this year. Both sides
wow,
have agreed that that's not happening. That's what I've
wow.
seen reported. Now, that could change. That could mean they're going to take their first-round pick next year. I don't know. But I know that at this point in time, that's been moved off of. So that's pretty much the only Aaron Rodgers update I have. I don't know if you want to say anything about that, Pop. If you want to hear my thoughts on Aaron Rodgers, you can jump back to last week's episode.
Right.
I
Not
laid
much.
into him.
Not much to add. I think we've covered the Aaron Rodgers situation. So yeah, go back.
Yeah,
Some good
go
stuff.
back, check it out.
Like,
So
scribe,
all the good stuff.
subscribe, like, subscribe, all that stuff.
It's our new thing. It's an abbreviation for something. You just gotta go hit the scribe. Hit the scribe. I like it. So I guess the next piece of news, which kind of all ties back to it, let's bring some Commanders talk in here. We got uh, Ron goes on the record and is like, we never thought about pursuing Lamar. We never wanted to pursue Lamar. We're not pursuing Lamar. It's not part of our plan. That's not what we're going to do. He did include the caveat that if the new owner comes in, buys the team, and says, go get me Lamar Jackson, well, The new owner
Right.
signs the checks, so they're going to have to look into it, right? And I think I don't even know why Ron felt like he had to say that, but yes, that's where he's at. And he had said he feels at this point he's really excited about the fact that they're starting to roster build, which is another comment that I think a lot has been made out of. I can see
In
Pop, you
year
got a
four,
reaction to it, so go ahead, give
I'm
me your
surprised
thoughts
that one
before.
doesn't
Yeah,
have you going nuts.
go ahead, you go first.
No, I think the comments that why does he need to say this stuff? Because like I look at it this way: if you're Ron Rivera, regardless of what we think about whether they should go after Lamar or not, I don't think they can. Right? We talked about in the last pod the amount of you've got to have the money set aside and you've got to have ownership approval. And at this point, they don't know who the owner is going to be, so it's an impossible situation unless the ownership situation gets settled. And like you said, the new owner wants to swing big, right? They don't have the cap space, they don't have the cash to do it, so it's a non-starter. But why does he need to say that?
Yeah,
Because he's putting himself out there to the new owner, saying, this is my strategy to go with the young guy who we know, Sam Howell. It's incredibly risky.
it's a coin
It's an
flip.
incredibly risky strategy. I hope it
Yeah,
works out. I love
me too.
I love me some Sam Howell, and I love some Jacoby Brissett. I hope it works out. But to say those words and then double down. Others in the organization have said the same thing. Like I don't understand why you would say those words. Just
Yeah,
say, hey, he's a great talent, but it doesn't fit the current situation that we're in from a financial perspective or something like that, right? Versus trying to say, well, look, I think our quarterback situation is better than it would be with Lamar. That's crazy talk, right?
yeah, yeah. I agree. I think it's you know, I know why he feels like he needs to say it because he's getting harassed about it at every press conference and every opportunity somebody has to Photoshop a W logo into the teams that are looking for Lamar Jackson. I mean, everybody and their mother. Schefter's on First Take saying, "I think the Commanders make a lot of sense." Everybody's saying
And they're
he
all
should land in
stupid.
DC. They're all full of it.
They're all
Um,
stupid because they're not considering the ownership situation.
and I think
I mean,
what,
what's the
yeah,
point?
well, what I was just going to say is I think they are speculating because that's their job to speculate. And it's their job to know a little bit about all 32 NFL teams. And on paper, you go Commanders, pretty good roster top to bottom, no quarterback. Okay, that's an easy fit. You look at what happened in Tampa, you look at what happened in LA, you look at how
No
Philly stepped
question.
up when Jalen Hurts took the step forward. It's obvious. But as fans, we got to kind of have our wits about us a little bit more and say, guys, we know this isn't happening. This is just the national media being dumb. And unfortunately, Ron gets thrown in the middle of it. The roster building comment, I really don't care about, to be honest with you, because I think at this
Hey,
point,
he had 3 years to get warmed up, right? He was doing his stretches, his calisthenics, jogging around, getting warmed up.
Ron's,
Now he started roster building.
hey, he's a little, Ron's a little closer to the senior side of the
I don't
coaches in
think
the
he meant
NFL,
it.
so
I don't think
takes a
he
little
meant
time to
it.
limber up. That's where I was getting to. I think
Yeah,
we've seen Ron like with the quarterback comment earlier in the during the season last year where they said, "What's the problem? Why do you think you haven't caught up?" And he said, "Quarterback." I think
love that one.
I think we've seen Ron put his foot in his mouth enough times now to know that what he says in those moments is not necessarily what is actually happening. It's just kind of you can
I
see the
think what he
roster
meant.
is in a
I think
much
what he
better
meant.
position than it was.
I think what he
Like,
meant is that they're not in a situation where they have big holes,
yeah,
and so they can start making decisions about adding depth and those kind of things, which makes
yeah.
sense. He just didn't explain it very well, so
He's
we're just
gotten
gonna have
us
a little fun at his expense. But yeah,
definitely. I mean, you
right,
look back on the team before he took over. I mean, you're talking about
absolutely
names like Steve Sims Jr. and Kelvin Harmon were part of
agree,
our vernacular, and now we've got Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, and I mean Terry was there before, but Jahan
agree.
Terry and Curtis Samuel. Like the team, top to bottom, is so much better than it was when he took over. Quarterback obviously still a big issue. Offensive line has deteriorated, but that's going to happen when you lose Trent Williams and Brandon Sheriff. Um, But overall, I don't make much of the roster building comment. So let's. You got one more thing to drop on me here, Pop?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
see
yeah,
the
yeah.
little side messages here. I was about ready to move on, but go
I
ahead.
know, I know. You're
Lay it
doing a
on the
good
people.
job. You're keeping
Lay
us
it on the
moving.
people.
A plus, son. A plus.
Lay
But
it on the
now I was
people.
just gonna say, like, this was the perfect moment for Ron to channel his inner Bill Belichick, right?
Yeah.
Of just saying, "Are you interested in Lamar Jackson? No. That's your answer. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
No, no,
We're
we're not
not.
going to be pursuing. We're not pursuing
Yeah.
that. That's it. That's
Yeah.
all you need to say."
And that's basically how Marty handled it. He was like, "We're not interested. We think he's incredibly talented. He's just not a good fit for us right now. Move on.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it."
it.
And then let everybody else make everything. Just that's it. That's exactly how we should be handling it. And you know what, Ron? From now on, when somebody asks you a question, just pretend you're talking about an injury. That's what you should do.
There you
Because
go.
you
Good
don't give any
advice.
information about that. So just pretend somebody's hurt. Just in your
Good
mind,
take.
hey, what are you going to do with Chase Young's fifth year option? Just envision his ACL. We'll handle that.
Got to
Just
talk to
think
the
about that.
trainers.
Yeah,
Any
we're going to
question
talk
he
to the
gets
trainers.
is going to say, "What do you think about Lamar Jackson?" You got to talk to the trainers.
You got to talk to the
I haven't
trainers
gotten
about
the report yet.
that. We're looking into it.
We're not going to do it.
And then when in doubt, just act like you don't know. Just we could be eliminated. Just act like you don't know what's going on. When in doubt.
We love you, Ron.
Anyways, yeah, it's, to be determined. We'll see how this season goes. So, Pop, I mean, that's there's a few other things that I think we'll probably close the episode with in terms of news, but we teased it at the beginning of the episode, and I think we should get right to it. You want to hit the Kikats of the week?
We got to hit the Kikats of the
I
week.
think
I
we
love
got to
this
do it.
one.
We're
I
here
love
already
this one.
cracking jokes, making fun of Ron. Let's keep the vibes high.
In fact, I'm going to click on the video and watch this thing one more time, and as you break it down for the people.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. So the Kikats of the week. So essentially, what happened is this guy decides to go on the field at Dodger Stadium, and I guess this had to have been during opening day, right?
Yeah,
And
had to have been.
he gets on the field to propose to his girlfriend from the stadium. So he gets out there, he makes the break for it. He's on one knee, he's got the ring open, and he just gets absolutely flattened.
I mean, the security guard leaves his feet.
I mean, it looks like that security guard's been waiting his whole life for this moment. He's been waiting his whole life for this opportunity, and it was like Vontaze perfect over the middle, just decapitating someone.
So you're definitely going to put a clip in there, right?
Yeah, the video will be going while we're talking about this here, but he's
oh my god,
one of the funniest things I think you're ever going to see.
So funny when I sent this clip to Dominic, my caption was, "Do you think he yelled Ray Lewis before he obliterated him?" Because when Dominic, was younger and was at home, every once in a while, we'd start messing around, and I would just yell Ray Lewis and tackle him into the couch. Very gently, I'd bring him down gently. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I told him, I said, "Do you think the security guard yelled Ray Lewis before the?"
He hit him like Ray Lewis.
And that guy had some aggression, stored up aggression, and oh my god!
I think that guy was probably going to therapy once a week, every week, and this week after the hit, he's just sitting on the couch, just like, "So what's going on with you?"
I'm feeling good.
I've been floating recently.
So I've got a serious question for you.
Go for it.
Does she still marry him?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I mean,
what would you do if you were? Because she probably didn't know he was going to do this, right? I mean, is this the guy you want to spend the rest of your life?
She's probably thinking, "Oh my God, he had too much to drink. He's going to go streaking now. What are my parents going to think?" And then he gets out there and he pulls the box out.
He's all proud and like you could tell, poor guy to a certain extent, right? He wasn't trying to do no harm.
No
He's
poor
smiling.
guy for me. No poor guy for me. That's good for you, Pop. I appreciate you being positive. This guy's a certified jackass. That is just certified jackass behavior. No poor guy. What? Make a call and say, "Hey, get me on the jumbotron." Do it old school.
You don't
But
think the security guard was a little bit over the top?
no, I think it was awesome. I think it was awesome.
Do you wish you were the security guard?
That'd be pretty sweet. That'd be pretty great. I
Oh my
definitely,
god!
I think
Oh
it
my
would do my
god!
mental health some real good to just leave my feet and flatten somebody right now. So I think that would definitely be a,
Oh, I love it so much.
oh, too funny, too funny. So that's our kickouts of the week for this week. So it's got to be kickouts to that dude for thinking that was a good idea. I mean, it's like sticking your finger in a socket. I mean, I just don't know what you thought was gonna happen.
In the
But
comments, right? We'll in the comments we'll make a short out of this. Want to hear your comments? Does she say yes? Does she
yeah,
still marry this guy? Let us
there you
know what you're
go.
thinking.
There you go. Yeah, let us know. Does she still marry this guy? It's I think she's. You gotta hope she says yes for this guy's sake. I mean, you talk about
Yeah, that's going to be a bad situation for.
yeah, and you just gotta hope it's a real healthy and happy marriage, and they live
I mean,
to love each
ultimately
other
though,
for
she's got
years
to
to
do the
come,
right
right?
thing. She's got to. I mean, she's got to take care of herself.
Oh yeah, 100%. I just hope they're so madly in love that this is
Yeah,
just
hopefully the love runs deep. He tried.
hopefully
He tried.
he tried and he can show the video to his grandkids hopefully
Teachable,
one day, and they'll be like, "What the hell were you thinking, Grandpa?"
teachable moment. I hope the ring's okay.
And you can see in the video, they're kind of like one guy picks up the box and then the other guy's reaching down. Let us know in the comments. Do you think he got the ring back, or do you think the ring just got lost?
Oh my god.
One of the security guards walk home with the ring. Somebody got a pay raise.
Oh,
Uh,
so good.
so, anyways, that's our kickouts for the week this week. Yeah, it's just a hilarious moment. Great find there, Pop. Um, so let's kind of bring things back to the Commanders a little bit. Let's touch up on a couple other quick hits. I think we could start with another kickouts of the week caliber moment. Is RG3 going to be buying the Commanders? What the hell is? Are we in the Twilight Zone? What is happening?
First, he's making quarterback lists, and now he's part of the sale group. As always, it was
Oh my
RG3
god!
who broke that news, I think.
Of course,
Yet to be confirmed, but this.
RG3, the leading reporter on news related to RG3. Nobody does. He's the Adam Schefter of reporting on RG3.
But wouldn't he like pretty much have to give up his career as a football analyst? You couldn't be an analyst and part owner of a team. I would think his earning
I don't know.
potential would be like, I guess he could maybe continue to do college ball, but I mean, how is he going to be impartial? I mean, I'm fine with it. Whatever. It'd be I'm sure I think last I saw, which I wouldn't sneeze at all, he's worth like 15 million or something. So whatever portion of it he's going to, out of 6 billion, he's going to have a very minuscule portion if it's even true. But
Yeah,
I think he'd
yeah.
bring good PR to the team.
He said something along the lines of like he's had good conversations with Josh Harris and
Mm-hmm.
his group. Josh Harris, obviously the biggest. So the news related to this is we have confirmed via Adam Schefter, Josh Harris placed a $6 billion bid, and his group, the Harris and Mitchell Rails, I think is the other guy's name, and
Magic.
Magic Johnson, he would be like the celebrity involved there. And then the Greek, Steve Apostolopoulos, dropped,
Snuffleupagus.
yeah, Snuffleupagus, Steve Snuffleupagus, dropped $6 billion on the man. That is so disrespectful.
Hey,
Steve Apostolopoulos.
my name gets made fun of all the time. We don't mean any
Yeah,
disrespect. No
I
disrespect.
got called Dominique enough times to
That's right.
yeah to give it back. But he also dropped the $6 billion bid on the team. I think we've made it clear. At least I've made it clear. My stance. I'm hoping it's Josh Harris and his group. He just seems to run teams the right way. Know what he's doing. He's the front runner. So I hope this is it. There's talk with Apostolopoulos about how sometimes you make a bid just to get your name out there and be a part of the
I heard
conversation.
that.
So we're hoping that that's the case with Apostolopoulos because he's kind of an unknown right
I'm
now.
just calling him Steve, by the way. I'm just calling
There
him
you go.
Steve.
I like saying it. It makes me feel
You're
smart. I
good
mean,
at it, man.
everybody
You're
acts
good
like
at it.
it's this really hard thing to say, but it's really not. I mean, if you can sound it out, it's not that hard. It's just a lot of letters. So That's my flex. So the sale appears like it's very close. We'll see. I'm hearing it could be done by the draft. So
Yeah, there
we'll
was an
see.
interesting take. I think it was Ben Standing got the article that they had deferred the bonuses, the signing bonuses, until May. So to me, that's probably
Yeah,
the most encouraging sign that there's a deadline. And Dan's head, I mean, Dan's just trying to drive up the price. I
yeah,
mean, now once a week it seems like there is a breaking news, which is the exact same news that he's not opposed to Bezos um, bidding on the team, right? So he's just trying to drive this price up every possible nickel that he can
yeah,
get, and that's why it's dragging. And I think people are getting impatient, but I mean, the fact that we're this close, and it just seems like by all indications, Jason Wright came out and said that he's anxious to see it done. I think Ron Rivera, for the first time, actually acknowledged, you know, definitively that something's happening, whereas before he said, I'm not
yeah,
concerned about that. I'm kind of still working with the Snyders. So it's
yeah. He
it's getting
basically
close. And whether it's at this point, whether it's April, May, June, I mean, hopefully the only thing that would absolutely be awful is if it didn't happen before, you know, the season started. But I mean, all indications are, and I don't think the owners, I mean, people are up in arms at the owners meeting that they didn't make a big deal about it. But I think that's because there's a handshake agreement with Dan that he's selling. And why are you going to trash the guy or try to make a beef about it in that situation? That's why everybody's backed off,
think
right?
about it. Think about it from the owner's perspective. The whole reason when all these allegations were coming up and they weren't talking about selling yet, we were all so negative. And we were all saying, there's no way he's ever going to go because the owners don't want to turn on one another. And they don't want to prove, hey, we can vote an owner out. It's never happened before. They don't want to set that precedent. They don't want to have that level of
Now, and we're
it's
not saying that's right or we agree with them, right? By
no.
the way, I mean, if
I
there was
was just
wrongdoing,
about to
yeah,
say I was just about
sorry,
to say it's screwed up, but
right,
they are in a position with the way the thing is laid out where they can choose whether or not they want to have that level of accountability. And they
it
don't
is
want to
screwed up.
sacrifice that. They want to protect themselves. So we're saying, okay, it's never going to happen. Now look at the situation into where it's evolved to. Dan's got two bids. If he's got two bids and he's known to be this crazy guy that is off the wall and impulsive and can, bite off his nose to spite his face a lot of the times, why would you poke the bear? Let him go. He's this close to walking out the door. Just let him go.
He
Let him feel like he won. Let him get out. And then the owners still get to protect themselves. Everybody wins. And Snyder's gone. And
he's
especially
so
if it's a
leveraged.
guy like Josh Harris.
He's so leveraged. He can't walk away from $6 billion. He can't afford to. At this point, he can't afford to run this team.
Yeah.
He's so
I mean,
leveraged,
reports are
and he
coming
does,
out
and
that he's
nobody
over a
wants
billion
to.
dollars in debt.
Right. If he could get a minority partnership, if he could get somebody to come on at 30-40%, then he could save it. But no one's going to do
It's
that.
not
So
happening. And the
I think
NFL won't approve
hang in
that.
there, Commanders fans. It's coming. It's coming soon. I'm encouraged by everything I'm hearing, and we got it's all right. We just keep stashing one bottle of champagne every week. We're just going to make it a real party when it
Yep.
finally happens.
It is going to go crazy. I promise you guys that
Absolutely,
much.
first
So,
drunk pod.
yes. So one more well maybe not first, but
That's right. It was that time
one
at the
more
beach.
one more little moment here. The boy Jason Wright has said the name is not changing. I think that's a whole lot of nothing personally because I think if Josh Harris comes in and says, I'm going to change the name to the Red Bulls, then Jason Wright's going to have to change the name to the Red Bulls. I think
Yeah, it's true.
it's kind of like the Lamar thing. It's like, okay, the name's not changing unless the deal's already done and you know from the owner, which you can't say, right? Then you don't know. You just are saying things to say things.
And what are the chances? And nothing against Jason Wright. I mean, I think given the circumstances, he and Ron, as far as the culture change status of
Yeah,
things, have done about as good a job as you could possibly do. Honestly, there's been
it's
some
tough.
mistakes made and some flubs, but when you have that lack of leadership at the top, those things happen, right? When your owner's penny pinching everything and all of that, right? But I mean, I think it's very unlikely he survives this ownership change. And Ron
I think
only
he's the
survives, Ron only survives because it's too late to do anything there, and he's going to have to put up a 10, 11 win season to
yeah.
keep his job.
No, I think Jason Wright is probably the most likely to go.
Yeah,
I think Ron, like you said, because at the end of the day, we're putting forth a football team, and Josh Harris, maybe he knows a few things about football, but he doesn't know about how to defend 21 personnel and this kind of. He doesn't know about the X's and O's of it. Ron has that leverage to keep his job if he can prove, hey, I'm doing good enough with the X's and O's to get
right,
us to a championship, and he can sell basically to Josh Harris, Steve Apostolopoulos, Tobin Fertitta, who I think is out at this point, but whoever comes in, Jeff Bezos, if he can sell to them, hey, I'm building something here. You don't want to
right,
restart this.
right.
He's
I'm
got a
building
chance.
something here, and it could have even have been better if it wasn't for this screwed up ownership situation. So,
Here's all the
give me
places,
a
here's all the
chance.
guys I wanted to keep that we lost. Look at what happened with Trent Williams. Can you imagine this team with Trent Williams?
Right.
Like that kind of stuff. And I think with Jason Wright, I don't know what you point to. I mean, the rebrand would I can't say it was successful. Everybody
No.
hates the name. Let's just call it what it is. We've learned to embrace it and love it because we root for the team every Sunday. But
I
it
maintain
didn't
it's
go
okay.
well.
It's okay. It's okay, and it becomes to be. It's kind of like Wizards, right? Wizards was not a great name, but it comes
You're
part
sitting
of it.
there
You get
yelling,
used
"Go
to it.
Wiz!" Right? Yeah.
You get used to it, and we're getting used to it. But yeah, I mean,
We had some fun. We had some fun memories with the Commander's name over the
do
season, and
you
when you
want it to
take that roller
change?
coaster ride, I wouldn't be against it. What I don't want is another campaign. I said this in
Yeah,
my Commander's group chat.
yep.
I if they change, here's what I want. I want a tweet from Adam Schefter that says Josh Harris is going to change the name
Has
to
to
the
happen quick.
Washington Kickots, whatever
Right,
they're
has to
changing the
happen
name
quick.
to. I don't care. I don't want another 6 month. Oh, 2 2 2 2, and then we're going to drop the name. Oh, let's poll the fans and then pick the name that all the
No,
fans hate. I don't want that. That's a
I
waste of
agree.
everybody's time and
Let's
energy. I
move
don't
on and
care.
build a championship football team.
Here's the new
Nobody will care
name.
about the name.
Exactly. Here's the new name. Here's Sam Howell, Terry McLaurin, and Deron Payne wearing the
All
jerseys.
right,
We'll see you
10
Sunday.
seconds. That happens. Josh Harris comes in. He's kicking ass. He's taking names. He announces the new name. What do you want it to be?
Wolves.
Just Wolves.
Washington Wolves.
Yep.
Wolves or Warhogs would be my two.
I always, my three favorites, my top one is Red Wolves. Yeah, I'm on the
Red
bandwagon
Wolves
there.
would be the best. Yeah.
Wolves, Wolves is great, or Warriors. Those are my top three.
I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah. All three of those would be so
But
much
but
better.
but
But
yours are great too.
yeah,
But
I
anyway,
like
I don't
I
think
like
it's gonna
Warhogs.
happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen either, at least not for the foreseeable. I think it could happen in like 5 years, but I don't think whoever buys the team is going to come in and rebrand immediately. It's a lot of money. Um,
Yeah.
anyways, I say we
But you
wrap
could
this
do
thing
it.
up.
It's doable with the W on the helmet. You would just have to get rid of all references to commanders, and you could keep for year one. You could keep the current beauties and color scheme, and just start. Obviously you'd have to repaint things in the stadium, but it could be
Yeah.
done on the
The
quick.
only thing, the only thing I absolutely don't want to happen is to change the colors. That's the only thing.
Agree.
I
Totally
There
agree with
was
that.
talk on the radio this week about how a few people called in and said, "Hey, if they were going to go with the Commanders, they should have just changed the colors to red, white, and blue and just went with the city theme, which is that we're America's city and whatever. Screw all that.
I
Burgundy and
agree.
gold. I don't. That's the last. I would be so upset if that happened.
Oh,
Oh, I love it. I love it. What a way to wrap it
that
up.
was for you. That was for Fred Smoot.
That was for Fred Spoon, and that was for my dog Carlo when he doesn't get what he wants.
That's
Breaks
right.
into that almost immediately. But anyways, I say we wrap this thing up. Been a great pod pop, great outline, great setup, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully, we have a bit more news, and we're going to start having to get warmed up on some draft coverage soon. It's
Absolutely.
April.
Can't
Today
wait.
is April 1st, so 'tis the season.
Can't wait.
Anyways, without further ado, let's wrap this thing up. I've been Dom.
This is Pop.
Thanks for another great week.